Welcome to In the Geek Room and films that I'm watching in 2020. I'm continuing with this little collection, and we are on July. And so it's been, some of the month. Most of the films I've watched I've either linked to the High Ground podcast or films we've watched because of the High Ground podcast. Watching quite a bit of TV at the moment. So we'll started off July with Frozen 2 on Disney Plus. Because I was kind of forced into watching it by my fiance, who wanted me to watch it, and all I could say is the only bit I actually liked was the Into the Woods song, because which being important is Lost in the Woods, because it sounds so much like Peter Cetera's Glory of Love from Karate Kid 2. The guy who plays the guy that sings it, Jeff Groff who sings it, is in Hamilton, which I'm not including because it's in this list because it's a musical, but watch Hamilton, and Jeff Groff plays the king in Hamilton, plays the lead in Frozen and Frozen 2, the male lead, should I say, the hero character, I don't know how you describe it these days, in Frozen 2, alright film, not a bit overrated, I didn't really like the first one, so that's Frozen 2, then Dredd, Carl Urban's Dredd, Alex Garland wrote it. Really good, ultra violent, and if you haven't seen Dredd, watch Dredd. Dredd is just, it's an 18 certificate comic book movie for a reason. It's really, really good. They should have had the sequel out by now. They should have done something with it. It's just, it needs a follow-up, be it a TV series or another movie. But Dredd, watch Dredd. Now go X-Men First Class. I like this film. I admit, 2006, it's, I know there's a lot of detractors, especially the amount of times it's been referenced subtly or not so subtly in the X-Men universe, but X-Men First Class, I really enjoy it. Then Dark Phoenix, great movie, as long as it's not an X-Men movie. If it was a standalone film without X-Men characters with the same story, it'd be a good movie, but as an X-Men movie, they should have either ended the Fox X-Men movies with either Logan, if you want the sad ending, or Days of Future Past. So, it's a good movie, just not, it's one of the worst of the X-Men movies, in my opinion. Then I did a double bill of Rambo 3 and Rocky 5. Just like the X-Men ones, did them for High Ground podcast. So, go and have a look at the High Ground podcast. So listen to the High Ground podcast, because there'll be a link in my on my channel. I've got a playlist of the High Ground stuff. So Rocky 3. I did a Rambo 3 versus Rocky 5. So Rambo 3, you know what, and it is a very, very weak. I didn't like it. It's like a poor man's First Blood Part 2. So Rambo 3 is like a greatest hits of Rambo, First Blood and First Blood Part 2, but it's just nothing special. It's one of Sly's weakest films, along with Bullet to the Head. Rocky 5, not seen it in years. I kind of enjoyed it. It only gets, I just didn't like the whole, the Tommy Gunn story, but as a father-son story up to that point, it's good, and the whole rich is back to poor, it all worked. I just didn't like the Tommy Gunn storyline into it, kind of, Village of the Damned, watched it as part of the High Ground podcast. Really good 90s John Carpenter film, cast of 80s icons. Watch Village of the Damned. If you like John Carpenter, he still has his magic in the 90s, and it's like an underrated John Carpenter movie. So thank you to Callum for that one. Sin City, I hadn't seen it in years, found it cheap on Blu-ray, so I had to have it, and damn, it's graphic. I forgot how graphic the film was, but it's really, really enjoyable. And it's like Dredd. It's, if you think comic book movies, when they say the R-rated comic movies like Dredd, like Deadpool and Logan, you want to watch an 18 certificate ones, you watch Sin City. Then we followed up with Sin City, A Dame to Kill For. Another, Robert Rodriguez, Frank Miller, absolutely brilliant with both of these ones. And, I prefer Sin City to Sin City 2, but Sin City 2 still has its moments, still gruesome. So when people go on about the likes of Logan and Deadpool 2 being like the hard R comic book movies, Dredd, Sin City 2, gruesome, and up there. I haven't watched it this month yet. I didn't watch it, John, but I won't put it up there with like The Watchmen if you want films that are are graphic. But yeah, Sin City 2, if you've not seen them, get them, watch them. It doesn't matter how you watch it, you'll enjoy them. Old Guard on Netflix. Watched it because everyone's raving about it, how great it was. Honestly, in my opinion, I enjoyed it. It's the best Highlander movie never made. It is like Highlander meets the A-Team. You could just make a few minor changes and it would be a Highlander movie. But that being said, Old Guard, really, really good. Charlize Theron, Chiwetel Ejiofor, and Harry Melling. Three of the stars in it that I truly liked. A lot of unknowns I'd never heard of, but those three worth watching for that. Great to see Harry Melling. You may remember from Harry Potter getting some good screen time. Really good. Inside Llewyn Davis. My high ground partner, Callum, had never seen it, so we watched it after we did one of our podcasts. I love Inside Llewyn Davis. Coen Brothers classic. And anything where you get to see Kylo Ren, Poe Dameron singing with Justin Timberlake, worth it for that alone. Just, if you haven't seen Inside Llewyn Davis, go watch Inside Llewyn Davis. Superb film. So I found Detroit Rock City cheap on Google Play, so I had to have it. I put Detroit Rock City up there with the likes of Fanboys and Mallrats as a great teen movie. It's set in the 70s with these kids trying to get to a Kiss concert. Absolutely fantastic. Great 70s music. A lot of Kiss in it. Really, really good movie. Underrated teen movie in my honest opinion. Love it. Then Death of Superman, the animated DC comic book movie. I say comic book movie. It's a movie. It was released on DVD, Blu-ray, streaming. Really good. This is the Death of Superman is what Batman vs Superman should have been. It's what the sequel to Man of Steel should have been. Or the first Justice League movie. Death of Superman is superb, emotional. It hits every beat perfectly. You don't need to know the characters. You don't need the story to get into it. You'll love it. Followed that with Reign of the Superman, the Return of Superman. Absolutely fantastic. I read the Death of Superman and the Reign of Superman comics when I was it was in the 90s when it came out, so it reminds me of a good period, reading that and watching Lois and Clark, so being able to watch the Death of Superman and Reign of Superman comics on, animated, they would have made fantastic live action movies. Hopefully somewhere down the line in years to come, they'll convert the story and do it well, because they can do it animated. There's no reason why they can't do it cinema. If you haven't seen Death of Superman and Reign of the Superman, watch them, you'll love them. And follow that with Superman Returns. There's a little bit of research for a future podcast. You know what? I enjoy the movie. It's good. It's not a brilliant Superman movie. It's got its moments. It's got some real bad moments. Some of the times the story is weak. Brandon Routh is a great Superman, so I didn't like Kevin Spacey's Lex Luthor. So we watched that, and I can't classify this as a movie, but I watched Crisis on Infinite Earth. They got a hold of the DVD for that, and saying about Kevin Spacey's Lex Luthor, John Cryer in the Crisis of Infinite Earth. But here his Lex Luthor is the best Lex Luthor I've seen since Gene Hackman. So and he's also in Superman 4 with Gene Hackman. So I'm going to say, Superman Returns is not brilliant. And like I said, it has got its moments. Brandon Routh is great Superman, who's also in Crisis on Infinite Earth. That's the reason I watched Superman Returns. So watch Crisis on Infinite Earth, then watch Superman Returns. Prince of Darkness, watched that as a post High Ground podcast last week. 87 John Carpenter movie. Never heard of it before. Callum introduced me to it. Really enjoyable. I really enjoyed it. It's not been my favourite one of the John Carpenters so far, but I'm enjoying being introduced to John Carpenter movies because it's never been really on my radar, other than the likes of the original Halloween and Escape from New York. Followed that up with Batman vs Superman, the theatrical cut, because I am going to go on to the director's cut. Theatrical cut is actually, I actually enjoyed it for the first time, so a lot of brilliant movies. I didn't like the ending. I thought Doomsday looks like a mutated Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, which I let it down. If you want to watch the story, watch the Death of Superman instead. It's a lot better. And finished off finished off July with Under Siege 2. Did it for an audio commentary, so we were watching it, talking along with it. So I love Under Siege 2. It's 25 years old this year. And, Steven Seagal, what is his prime? I'd say it was his last decent movie. It's really, really good. It's just nonsense. And we did a commentary for it, check out the High Ground podcast. Contribute to plug in a lot this month in July. So, Under Siege 2, if you like Steven Seagal, it was his last one. So, that's been all the movies I watched in July. So, coming up in August. So, we started that one with one movie already as of recording. So, I'll see you all another in the Geek Room films I watched in 2020. See you all soon.